Well, guys, Lattafa got me. I tried to fight this one, and then my wife saw the bottle, and I said, honey, you might like it. It's got passionflower and some other notes in there. And I got Atheeri from Lattafa. This is one of their newer women's fragrances, or at least designed for women, as opposed to being a unisex fragrance. This is obviously a highly Middle Eastern fragrance, just based on the one named Lattafa, and also the fact that the presentation is immaculate, because Middle Eastern fragrances often, not always, tend to be very, very, very heavy focus on presentation as well as their fragrance quality, hopefully. As always, if you like the video and you find the review helpful, hit the like and subscribe button, leave a comment if you got a question. All those things really do help out the channel. So I'm going to bust this thing open, so sorry about the cellophane noise, and then we'll talk about the notes. So obviously presentation, again, I mentioned before, Middle Eastern fragrances and fragrance houses quite often, and to my enjoyment, are often very, very heavily focused on making a nice presentation. So there you go. It's got the bee on there. The idea behind this is going to smell like things that bees like. So when we first saw the bottle come out, we're like, oh, it's going to be a lot of honey notes and sweet, syrupy, kind of ambery stuff going on here. Nope. It's basically, the idea is, what do bees like? We're going to make a perfume that smells like that. So this is sometimes accused of being a Gucci Bloom flanker clone, but it's also accused of being a JPG twist. It's got so, but don't focus on that. Just focus on the notes, and I'll give you my rundown. So there's the bottle again. Lattafa just being excellent with their presentation. It looks gorgeous. I'll do an pop this out. I'll do an up close one. Nice and tight in there. Very safe. Just look at that. There's a little Lattafa logo on top. There it is. It looks like a honeycomb, obviously. The only thing they could have done, one more thing. They could have made it a hexagonal bottle. That's the only thing they could have done. They could have made it a hexagon instead of a square. If they'd done that, that would have been just like chef's kiss. But, you know, I think this thing was $40. I think I got a slight discount on, maybe. I can't remember for certain. But I paid $40 for it on Lattafa's website, and there you go. So as always, what we do on this channel is we review the fragrance. And the way we do that is, first we do a paper test. I give you the basic first impressions, and then I do it on skin, and I talk about, but first I got to talk about the notes. So first note is passionflower. Dewdrop, I have no idea what that's going to be like. Then you get middle notes of orchid and jasmine, so some floral stuff going on there. And then following base notes of vanilla and amberwood. So a pretty standard long-lasting base. Vanillas tend to last a long time, especially on skin. They don't break down super fast. So let's go ahead and get a tester strip out. We'll do a couple quick sprays. I should check one thing before I do that. Give me just a moment, pick my box back up. Let's figure out when this thing was bottled. All right, so this was produced March of 2025. So this might be good to go. It might end up being like a little screechy or something, because these Middle Eastern fragrances quite often do need to age in the bottle just to get everything right as rain. But we'll see how it goes. So hopefully we're going to get like a nice passion flower dewdroppy opening. I hope that dewdrop note kind of comes out and I can kind of recognize it and see what it is, or smell what it is. Ooh, decent atomizer. Okay, very floral in the opening. So it's a very, very sweet, I'm going to say it's a whitish floral if you want to give it a category. I understand what they mean by dewdrop. The dewdrop is almost just like a little bit of an aquatic note. Don't think fresh cut grass. Think like, think more like you're in the shower and a whole bunch of soapy water steam is kind of coming up. It's kind of like that. So, and I mean that in a very good way. It's not an offensive smell at all. It's actually very, very nice. It smooths it out. So it's not just like a really, like normally those florals quite often, they end up being kind of powdery and a little bit, I'm going to say old-ladyish. But because they add that kind of aquatic note in there, it smooths it out, makes it a little bit less dry, a little less powdery. Actually, a lot less dry, a lot less powdery. Yeah, and overall, it's just a very, very feminine, youthful kind of floral opening. So that was on paper. Let's do on skin. Let's see if we notice anything different on skin. 2 spurts. I get to smell like a lady for a little while. Let it flash. It's a little, okay, so the passion fruit kind of note that comes with the passion flower is a little stronger. so it smells a little fruitier on skin. That's actually a good deal for a lot of people because a lot of people don't like the florals too much, but this is it's much sweeter, much more flowery on the flowery on the skin. I can't talk today, but very much like it smells kind of like grapes. Like I imagine a bunch of fresh cut grapes, kind of that smell plus some florals. I don't get the dew note they're talking about quite as strong. The aquatic nature of it isn't quite as there on the skin, but that's going to probably show up as time goes on, and that initial burst of fruity smell kind of bursts away and flashes off. So I'm going to let that sit. We'll see how it goes after a day or after a few hours of wear, and we'll say what those dry down notes smelled like and how the performance worked. So we'll jump back in a little while, and it'll be an instantaneous transaction for you, but I'll be back soon. All right, guys, so it's the next day. Not a few hours later, the next day, after a few hours of wearing this, walking around, doing stuff around my house, and then going to bed and sleeping for 8 hours, I can still smell this on my wrist. It's not projecting at that point, but early on, it was a very, very good projector of the fragrance. The projection was great. I'm not sure what the actual syntax is correct there, but this thing does put out some fragrance into a room, a couple sprays, and it kind of fills up a room. So be careful with that, but it's not an offensive smell, so it's not really that big of a deal. I would say that on the conservative side, 8 hours of wear on this thing. So longevity's there, projections on point. I would say anything after 3 hours is probably closer to like an intimate or skin scent, but I mean 3 hours of projection is very good for an inexpensive fragrance. The way the notes kind of break down, that jasmine kind of grape kind of smell, not jasmine, excuse me, that opening of passionflower, that kind of fades after I'd say about an hour. It's not quite as strong. That dewdrop aquatic note kind of fades with it, that fruitiness that kind of comes with the combo. Almost kind of smells kind of like grapes I mentioned earlier. But then you get the middle notes of orchid and jasmine. It's a little more powdery at that point. But then even those powdery notes, that's mostly I think from the orchid, kind of fades away. The jasmine, oddly enough, sticks around. They could almost have listed jasmine as part of the base notes because even on my skin right now, I can smell the jasmine plus vanilla. Amberwood, it's there, but it's not the main attraction. It's the vanilla is the main attraction. But the fact that jasmine kind of sticks it out and it keeps that vanilla having that kind of sweet floral along with the vanilla is very, very nice. And again, it's been well over 8 hours. I can still smell it on my skin, and the shirt I wore the night before that I had some on, I can still smell it on that as well. So it's got the performance, it's got the projection, and the fragrance is very feminine. The way I describe it is this is almost like if you want to get like the stereotypical tropes of what like who would wear this. This is like a girl next door kind of smell. If you don't like, it's not like a sexy smell. It's like an everyday kind of smell. You want to smell like this any given time. No one's going to be offended by that you smell this way. And this is good for all seasons. This is not a summer fragrance. It's not a winter fragrance. It's not a fall fragrance. It's just a good all-around fragrance. So like this is just a well done fragrance by Lattafa. I can't really find anything flawed with it. I don't know if in 6 months it'll smell a little better because it's had time to mature in the bottle because it's only a couple months old. But yeah, good choice, good presentation. Bottle's beautiful. Only wish it could have been hexagon shaped. That'd been cool because of the bee motif. But yeah, excellent job from Lattafa. Can't speak more highly for this. And yeah, great all around fragrance. Atheeri by Lattafa. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Like and subscribe to the channel if you find it helpful. And thank you so much.